Welcome to the Pickleball Guru's newest webinar. I'm Randy Manaply, and I'm here with the original traveling pickleball coach and author of 2 best-selling books, Smart Pickleball and Drop Shot Till You Drop.
Hello, Guru Nation. Welcome again. Happy New Year to you all.
And this webinar is going to cover 2 topics. First, the rule changes and some New Year's resolutions. Prem, talk about the new rules which primarily relate to serving, including the drop serve.
I wouldn't consider myself an expert on rules, but from what I understand from the rules is that most of what they call the Zane saw serve or the spin serves or any spins imparted with either hand as to be could not exist anymore, and the ball has to be seen, so you have to toss the ball so that the ball can be seen. So no spin can be imparted with the ball in hand. It has to be any spin imparted could only be imparted from the ball being tossed up. And also the drop serve has been now permanently affixed, which means that it's still optional in terms of how you want to serve, but you can serve the regular way or with the drop serve, but the drop serve remains an option in case people need to use that as an option.
And that's probably a good thing too, because I notice a lot of players have difficulties with the regular serve, and so the drop serve helps them out a lot. Yes,
I agree, especially in the beginner intermediate group where a lot of people struggle with their serves. The drop serve becomes a very good option, and also in the drop serve, it's easier. I mean, it's an easier option for imparting spin. The side spin especially is a very good option for, especially for the beginner intermediate groups.
and I think you were telling me something about in rec play that the receiving team was not allowed to challenge who was the appropriate server or something like that.
Yes, if people are on the wrong side and things like that, in rec play, it is also the opposition team cannot contest it. It has to be done, by the team which is serving, or the serving team has to make that appropriate changes. So that's something which I read also. Yes.
And explain that to me. Does that mean if someone, what's the penalty if it's the wrong server?
I completely have I've read the thing is like the penalty is basically if you challenge that and if they're in the wrong serve, you lose the point. Obviously, has to be made from the serving team premises. The opposition team cannot contest it or cannot challenge them.
Do you know why this rule came about? I'm not as familiar with it as you are.
Me either. I don't know where it came about. I'm guessing it was the ball probably got a lot of views on that particular conversation, and I think they had to mandate something on that.
And the other thing that is sticking around, there's not going to be any more lets on the serve in pickleball.
That is an accurate statement too. So the lets the in the past when the let serves were always redone, and even in certain pro pickleball association it used to be redone, but I think now as of now it's mandated that as far as the USA Pickleball Association's rule book, let serves, as long as it crosses the plane of the non-volley zone, will be considered still an active serve.
Yeah. The ball is live.
The ball. That's right.
And before we get into New Year's resolutions, I'm going to take a moment to let everyone know that we have openings in a upcoming boot camp and Boot Camp Express. Even though we rescheduled our Zephyr Hills boot camp, that is full for February 18th, but we now have one spot available in our February 4th boot camp in Vero Beach. And we'll go ahead and also extend the Black Friday pricing of only $13.97 for participants who want to attend. So that's $600 off. Space is also available in Boot Camp Express on January 29th and 30th. You can use coupon code Express and get this for only $4.97. Stick around until after the webinar for more information about what you get out of boot camp and what past participants thought. And I'll have links below to all these and other upcoming boot camps. Now let's get back into our pickleball New Year's resolutions. Before I get into my recommended resolutions, have you made any New Year's resolutions, Prem?
Yes, I did make a wonderful New Year resolution to spend even more time with my kids. And it is important to me that I get to spend a lot more time with my children, and that is definitely. And as you could see in my schedule, I have actually reduced a lot of my travel schedules across the country to concentrate mostly being around in home in Florida, and trying to do a lot more activities here. Even though I do have a few travels in the breaks, in the school breaks, but my New Year resolution is definitely going to be spending more quality time with my kiddos.
And I'm sure they'll appreciate that too.
Yes.
So let's get right into it. Resolution number 1, I will reserve and return deeper. Prem, what are the advantages of serving and returning deep?
You know, as a coach, as a teaching pro, I would say serving deep is very important. Simply because if you serve deep, you're forcing your opponent to try and return from a deeper position, and which is much more complicated and difficult than if it's a shorter serve. It's easier for your opponents to come in quickly to the non-volley zone. So, serving deep is an important aspect, and as the same way, returning serves are also very important, and returning deep would be very, very important also, because by returning deep, you're keeping the serving team still waiting at the baseline as they have to let the ball bounce. So it is an important, very important part of the game to try and keep your opponents as far away from that non-volley zone line, or I call it the party line.
Mhm.
Party is.
And you don't want to invite your opponents to the party.
Not ever, as much as possible.
Yeah, I always say returning deep is even more important than serving deep. Don't get me wrong, I still serve deep, and my serve is a high loopy serve. And the other advantage to that is it forces the other team to generate their own power. So for all those bangers out there that are trying to crush the ball, your high loopy serve as well as your high loopy deep return essentially takes pace off the ball.
That's
And
right.
for your return, it also gives you time to get to the line.
That's correct. Because knowing that the serving team has to let the ball bounce, returning deep allows you enough time to get to the party line. So by hitting that way, I think you're getting a big advantage of making your way to the party line very safely.
And kind of tacking on to that with resolution number 2, after returning to the serve, I will get to the line faster. Prem, I notice a lot of players not getting to the line as quickly as they could or should. Why is that?
Partly sometimes it's their athletic abilities, so partly because they don't feel really great about their they are tired, or
Mhm.
they get fast. That's part of it, and most of the time, my assumption or my observation to it is oftentimes most of these players tend to return, and as I would call it, they tend to admire their return,
Mhm.
or wait and see where the ball bounces before making their move. Um, uh, that means that they have lost all the critical momentum they have carried by returning and moving to the party line by just watching the ball bounce, and at that point they are always caught at the no person's land.
Yeah, I asked a player about that one time because she was stopping in no person's land, and she replied she was avoiding it because other players hit so hard. But then they were just trapping her right in no person's land, and typically it was right at her feet, and the ball would go into the net when she tried to return it. How do you convince someone to move up to the kitchen line after the return of serve?
Um, eh, well, it is important. I think in a coaching experience, oftentimes when they are actually able to see how easy and how effortless it can be to get to the kitchen line without having to wait, and safely. And any hard hitting balls, as you said, it's much easier to counter it when you're at the kitchen line or at the party line, rather than when you are in mid court. And once they start actually visualizing it and seeing it for themselves, it helps. And definitely, as I said, like when people are in my clinics, they are able to see it and see the difference of how effective that is. And a lot of them, I don't need to try and convince them at that point. They're
Mm,
already convinced the best way to do it. So, be it me or be it anyone, a good coach in your local area, I would definitely suggest you to get some help. And once you see how convincing that can be, uh, I'm sure most of them will make that switch very quickly.
all right, thank you. And resolution number 3 for 2022: I will stop before I pop. What do I mean by this, Prane?
Um, this is a very common mistake I observe in especially in recreational. I would say from the intermediate groups and under, and most of the times what people tend to do, because there's this very interesting notion they have, is that you've got to get to that party line as quickly as possible, and sometimes people rush, um, and they are running as when the next ball is coming to them, and so they tend to actually pop the ball up, because they are still in movement when they are making contact with the ball. And it is always advised and it's always suggested to always stop before you make contact with the ball. It's easier to control a ball when you're set, or when you're already established, and so then it's easier to make uh, distribute the ball and have more control over the ball, rather than when you are hitting while you're moving. And when you're doing that, you definitely will pop it. So
Thank
my
you. Oh, go ahead.
my patient would always be stop, hit, and then move.
All right, very good. And that's basically what you tell when people are trying, especially when you're serving and you're taking the third shot: stop, hit, and move. And
That's right.
you don't need to rush up all the way up to the kitchen line. That changes from the no person's land to the land of opportunity, or the transition zone.
That's right. And it is very, very important for you. I think most part of the game, when you're making contact, you have to be already set and be ready, rather than try and be in movement when you are hitting a stroke.
All right, thank you. I think we're up to resolution number 4. I will not try to win the point with every shot I take. Explain this, Prem.
That's a really good resolution. Uh, we obviously want to have fun, and a lot of people are so stuck in trying to kill the ball as immediately as possible to try and get any advantage over their opponents, and it can work sometimes, but in most cases, I would probably say it is important to try and be more strategic about it, is in terms of um, placing the ball, moving the ball around a little bit before um, waiting for your opponents to give you a nice pop-up ball before you can hit a winner. Trying to hit winners on every ball, I can guarantee you it doesn't always get very effective. It works to a certain extent, but not always in a longer stretch. So yes, please do not try and hit winners, or try to hit winners on every ball.
Yeah, I see a lot of players. They'll try and win the point on the return of serve, when they'll just try and crush the ball as hard as possible, and that doesn't give them time to get up to the line. And a lot of times they're hitting it so hard that it just sails out. They're not even trying to get it deep. They're trying to win the point on the return of serve, and it's just not working.
Um, uh, True to be told, that it does work in certain aspects of, especially at the earliest levels or earliest times of the day
Mm-hmm.
game. And I've been privy to that one myself. When I started playing, I was able to do that, and I thought I was doing great with that ball. And but only to realize it only worked to a certain extent, and after some point, it didn't really work anymore. That against a little bit more better players. Um, what worked at the beginning definitely did not work later on. It doesn't mean you shouldn't be crushing balls. I said just be more strategic. I always use this term, the crouching tiger technique. I always say is like, just as you imagine a tiger in the wild to attack its prey, it always does it always makes sure it takes its time to patiently crouches, waits for its best opportunity when the prey is probably not paying attention, and then attacks it. So it's the same way, I would say, in terms of pickleball is I'm all about aggression. I'm all about attacking, and just be more like the tiger. Just be patient, crouch, wait for that opportunity to attack. So the crouching time is probably the time when you want to play your slow game. Be patient, dink the ball, move the ball around a little bit till you get the opportunity to attack. Does
Yeah,
that make sense?
yeah, and I forget which session it is at boot camp. It's either in the dinking session or the dancing with your partner session. You specifically yell out, you don't have to hit winners to win the point.
Definitely in the dancing with your partner session is when
Okay.
we talk about it. Is it's not about I'm a big proponent of placement over power in this game, and you do not have to power every ball. All you have to do is place, and that's part of the tiger attacking the prey.
Right. Which is a nice segue to resolution number 5. I will work on placing my shots. Your shots should have some type of purpose, shouldn't they, Prem?
They definitely do. You need some purpose. And what I mean by that is that as I said, it's just like how the tiger crouches and waits patiently. The crouching time is basically how you have to place the ball, move the ball around. Now, at the lower intermediate group, placing the ball is not always as consistent. And I always hear this from some of my participants who always say, Oh, I wish I could place the ball as you say, and I'm only reacting to the ball. And in fact, part of teaching and part of getting them to understand that placing the ball is as much as a skill. It is also about having the time and the patience to understand and execute a ball with a lot of uh, intent. And to be able to do that, and I again would definitely recommend you to look at uh, professional teachers who can help you to analyze and wait patiently to watch your game and give you really uplifting strategies on how to move the ball around and place. And placement is definitely a skill. It needs a lot more of ball control, and that definitely comes with a lot of understanding of it, getting some professional help, but also later on making sure you spend enough time on drilling and getting good at ball control. Ball control allows you to place the ball, move the ball around, and that only happens if you keep practicing. And if you just go to your local club and just keep ripping balls after other and hoping that you will get the placement as you want, definitely doesn't work. I definitely would suggest you to look at, have someone look at you, or come to one of my clinics or my boot camps where you can definitely get a lot of help in terms of body mechanics, about positioning that body of yours, and also knowing how your personal mechanics works, so that we could explain to you how placement works. But the key to all that is about ball control, and that is a skill set, and that's a skill set which can be learned and can be harnessed with help.
All right. And resolution number 6, I'll avoid speeding up the ball. What do I mean by this, and what generally happens when you speed the ball up, Prem?
Well, generally, when you speed the ball up, I think I've mentioned this in the past webinars. If you try to speed up a ball, generally it's never really good, because there's a statistics which came out some time ago about in the professional circuit, and it came out to like the team which sped the ball up. What I mean by speeding the ball up is when they start increasing the speed of the ball, or when they're trying to smash the ball harder. The team which started off that fast-paced ball tended to lose 93% of the time. 93. That's a large percentage of points lost when you speed up the ball. And so, does that mean that you shouldn't be speeding up the ball? Probably not. That's not a true statement either. What I mean by speeding up the ball is when you're able to let your opponents give you the high ball, a ball which is over the net and high enough to your shoulder level, which can actually hit downwards. And when you can do that, then that's a very good ball. But trying to speed up the ball all the time, generally, as I said, if it happens even at the professional levels, it tells you that you're probably not in the right space of trying to speed the ball up. You might get a few petty points here and there, but generally you lose more points by speeding up the ball.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that statistic. I'm amazed that it's 93% of the time that when they start speeding the ball up, they lose a point.
That's an incredible number, and in my personal observation of watching players across my teaching time, and even in my own personal game, I realized like any time I tend to speed up the ball, uh, I generally tend to lose that point.
Yeah. And our final resolution, number 7, we have a lot of resolutions for you out there for 2022, is I'll move side to side more. Planting yourself in the middle of your box won't work, will it, Prane?
That has not been my experience. It works for certain players. Maybe if they are, 7'2" or 6'7", it might probably work because they might have the reach for it. But generally, for most of us, the mere mortals, I would say that definitely does not work by just staying in one area and hoping that every ball will come to your paddle. Moving side to side, the lateral movement is the key in this game. And especially once you are at the non-volley zone line, you got to make a great effort to try and move the ball side to side, and move side to side. What I mean by that is when you're moving a ball, let's say you're on the right hand side and you move the ball to the left hand side, you gotta have to move as much as possible towards the middle, leaving your partner to cover the line, and so that you're always in front of the action. What I mean by that is front of the ball, so that you're always facing wherever the trajectory of the ball would possibly go, and then always make the movement when the ball's moving towards you, so that you and your partner are always in line with where the trajectory of the ball is. You had to think it off as a triangle. Basically, if the ball is moving to the left, then one of your partner is going to be at the sideline, and you're going to be in the middle, and then it creates a little triangle, and that's the main zone you both will be covering. And we extensively talk about these things in the strategy sessions in the boot camp, so that you guys get a clear idea on how to move side to side. It's part of the advanced group, advanced level of understanding about pickleball, strategies about placement and positioning. Definitely, if you do come to one of the boot camps, it'll be a pretty big eye opener for many players. And over the years, I've experienced so many players, light bulbs come up when they realize how much they have not really understood the lateral movements. Yes, that's a very important resolution. So I think all the 7 resolutions you talked about, Randy, are extremely important to improve your game. And make sure you starting off with all the 7 resolutions, and those resolutions will amp your game up. And definitely working personally in your game will help you. But do get some good coaching help, be it me or be it any good professional teaching professionals out there. Please try and get your help from them, and they will definitely help you improve your skill sets. And but even if they do help you, remember, you gotta have to spend your own time and trying to drill and practice and hone those skills by repetitive action every single time, and spending even 10 to 20 minutes every time you go to play on just getting yourself accustomed to ball controls and honing your skills will improve. And I'll guarantee you, if you do that, this New Year's resolutions, by the end of this 2022, you will be an excellent player.
Thank you for that, Prem. So that's our recommended New Year's resolutions for 2022. Stick around for more boot camp information. I already mentioned the 2 boot camps in February, but we also have Richmond coming up in May, Denver in June, and Charlotte in August, and we're extending our Black Friday prices. That means that if you got a party of 4, you can come to either the Richmond, Denver, or Charlotte boot camp for only $9.97 per participant. There's also savings for if you're bringing a partner with you. All that information will be down below in the right above the comments sections. And we also have upcoming clinics coming up in Richmond, Denver, and Charlotte. Links to all this are below. That's all I have, Prem. Anything else?
Well, I do not have anything else for the moment. All I can wish to all my peeps at the Guru Nation, I wish you a wonderful, fruitful, and helpful, supportive, and prosperous 2022. Keep honing your skill. Keep enjoying your time at the pickleball courts, and remember, just have fun at the pickleball court, and it's only pickleball.
It's only pickleball. Thanks, Prem.
Thank you, Randy.
It's been wonderful. I liked the coaching, I liked the people, I liked the one-on-one. I see the court in a different way now. It's been very good. I can tell you, I have done other boot camp, or not boot camps, but other pickleball things. What I like about this best is the small number. You know, the small number, because you get that more one-on-one attention. There's more interaction with him playing on the court with you and telling you where to be and how to see the strategy and the breakdown of the court. Don't get that in the larger ones. You know, I've been at boot camps where there have been, you know, a lot of people, and yeah, they have a lot of different coaches, but they're floating around, and sometimes you're getting help and sometimes you're not. So this was very good.
So as I said before, as a fundamental part of my teaching is do everything and anything which buys you time. So if someone is hitting you a fast ball, you have little time to react to it. So that's one of the reasons why you dink, because you give yourself more time so that you're waiting for your opponent to make the mistake.
Tell them to definitely do it. I think it will improve your game. You'll get a lot of individual attention, and I'd do it again.
I would highly recommend it.
I would say sign up, because he makes it very easy, it's low-keyed, and there's no tension among the other people, no rivalry, it's all camaraderie.
Do it.
Yeah, absolutely do it. I would say do it. The one-on-one, the intimacy, it's very good. You really do learn things.
Coach-student ratio is terrific.
Yeah, well, and he teaches certain things until you get it. You know what I mean? Very good.
I would tell them to definitely do it. That I love the personal attention. There's only 8 players, and so you get a lot of one-on-one instruction and focus. So definitely sign up.
Well, today funny that I got stopped by 3 strangers for about 20 minutes. And I keep telling them I have to go to the bathroom, but they want to know about it, and they said they've been watching, and I told them that if they really enjoy pickleball and they want to be better, and I also expressed to them that I have joined other clinics, but this is the one clinic that I feel that I am going to improve and really going to step up to the next level, because it's more of a mind game. So that's what I take away from it, and I did recommend that they should read the book. And they said, yeah, we already took down the website from the banners on there. I said, absolutely. I said, read on the book on Amazon and then decide for yourself, because that's what my sister and I did. We read the book and we decided the camp would be good for us. just wanted to say thank you. You guys go above and beyond to make sure that our every need, not just learning about pickleball, but also, our daily meals, the lunch. You pay to every little details. Whatever we need, you guys have it and ready. So we really appreciate that very much.
Just keep on keeping on because it's wonderful.